on CTV3 News. Senate inquiry prepares to commence investigation into the definitive Portico agreement. Belize National Teachers Union meet with Minister of Education Francis Fonseca. Several issues are ironed out. SIB report shows prices of vegetables continue to soar. And we take you to Corozal, where the alarm is sound as it relates to HIV/AIDS. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, December 1st, 2023.
Movies are dreams. That you never forget.
The lights change how everything looks. It's hard to find our house.
Ours is the dark house with no lights.
In this family, it's the scientists versus the artists.
What kind of movie are we gonna make?
You stop making movies, it'll break your mother's heart. I don't know what to do anymore.
You do what your heart says you have to. What was your favorite part?
Centaur, your kind of company. With Express Plus, you can stream on the go or stream at home. Stream the latest movies, telenovelas, series, anime, or music videos from your favorite local artists. Sign up now with Centaur's Express Plus.
How to win $1,000 cash per branch.
Install or update to Express Plus streaming app. Also win another $1,000 cash per branch. Update your account balance up to December. Update your personal information to get your e-ticket. Drawing date January 5th, 2024 on the Despierta Belize Morning Show. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Centaur's family.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. As it has been reported over the last few days, a Senate inquiry into the definitive agreement granted to Portico Enterprises Limited by the Barrow administration is scheduled to begin on Tuesday, December 5th. The inquiry by members of the Senate is expected to look into how the controversial agreement came to be and whether the contract on behalf of Port of Magical Belize was done in a lawful manner. With the probe scheduled to begin in a few days, Prime Minister Bresenio says his administration has nothing to do with the dubious agreement and investigating his government would be a waste of time.
And I've said it over and over again, There's nothing to investigate with our government. We met that definitive agreement. We rejected that definitive agreement, and we said that a new agreement needs to be worked out. If they want to investigate our present government, it's going to be a waste of taxpayers' dollars. If they want to investigate what happened before, then so be it.
It caused an immediate stir last week when a leaked document showed approval for an increase in the telephone allowance afforded to CEOs in government ministries. The decision caused immediate backlash from the unions. However, the decision was quickly rescinded on Tuesday. Prime Minister John Briceño spoke on the matter in an interview earlier this week, citing that the decision to rescind the increase had nothing to do with the pressure that was brought on by the unions and was instead a decision taken by the CEO caucus.
When the CEO in their chat group, when they saw the result, they figured that said it's not worth it to be able to have that kind of negative backlash, and they have willingly given up that phone allowance. So it's no longer there.
So it was not because of the unions?
No, it had nothing to do with the unions. They themselves have agreed to say, we are prepared to give it up. It's not worth it to be in a back and forth with anyone over that.
Members of the Belize National Teachers Union met today with the Ministry that is of Education in Belize City, where a number of issues were set on the table for discussion. After several hours, both parties exited the meeting in a light mood after what they called a very productive meeting. Minister of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, Honorable Francis Fonseca, shared a few of the main topics brought to the forefront during today's meeting.
We had a very productive meeting, a very positive meeting. I think, we brought not only representatives of the Ministry of Education, but we also made sure we brought people from the Accountant General's Office, the Treasury Department. We brought our finance unit members, because most of these issues, as you will appreciate, have to do with finance. So we went through each issue one at a time. We went through the issue of increments, income tax returns, filings of income tax returns. We went through the issue, of course, that the union is concerned about allowances. And then we discussed the issue of the curriculum reform process that's underway, and the 30 minutes that is of concern to some teachers. And I think the bottom line is that I think on each point we were able to agree on a clear timetable moving forward, a clear structure for resolving these issues. Data sharing. One of the points we made was that we need more information from the union whenever they have these concerns. We need the specific information, so that's the only way we can address these matters, if we get specific data from the unions. So I think, as I said, generally it was a very positive, productive, respectful meeting. I came here myself because I wanted to demonstrate very clearly to the union once again that we are absolutely committed to working very closely with the Belize National Teachers Union. We recognize them as an important partner in education. We have to work together. One can't function without the other. They represent our teachers, who are valued members of our education community.
The issue of salaries for teachers was also a major topic of discussion today, which Minister Fonseca says they were able to agree on timelines and commitments moving forward.
We're talking about, in some cases, we're talking about, 80 teachers out of the teacher population. And yeah, in many cases it was that, these were new teachers who had come on and their paperwork was not properly finalized. Or they had been transferred from one management to the other and the paperwork had not followed them. So, yeah, it's a question in many cases, unfortunately, it's a case of managing authorities not having the proper documentation in place, or not having provided that documentation to the Ministry of Education. So we agreed that there had to be some of these loopholes closed and fixed, and so we had a good discussion about that.
For several years, the BNTU has expressed concern over the major backlog at the income department, which has resulted in teachers not being able to receive any of their returns. This matter, according to Minister Fonseca, is being rectified. However, it has taken longer than expected.
We brought it up to 2021. They're working on 2022 now, and then 2023. So it's, and again, because of the new system that the tax services department has in place, what they call IRIS. Okay. It's an accounting program or a computer system. You have to upload everything together at the same time. So they have to wait until they finish everything and then upload all that information for each year. So it's challenging, but that's the way. Yeah, so that's the process. It's not a question of money. The money is there. It's a question of getting the backlog cleared up.
The Statistical Institute of Belize issued its most recent figures on consumer prices and external trade for Belize throughout the month of October. We begin by taking a look at the statistics for Consumer Price Index, CPI, which shows that price levels across all categories of goods and services stood at 117.2, up from 112.3 in October 2022. This indicated that, on average, the country experienced an overall national inflation rate of 4.3% on the cost of goods and services commonly purchased by Belizean households. The inflation rate for October 2023 was virtually unchanged from the previous month, which saw an uptick in inflation following several consecutive months of deceleration in the rate at which prices were rising since the start of this year. Higher food costs accounted for more than one-half of the overall inflation rate for October, while restaurant services were also up notably during the period. On the other hand, prices fell within the transport category, partly mitigating the impact of these increases. Prices for food and non-alcoholic beverages increased by 11.5%, as the cost of food products remained significantly higher than they were during the same month of last year. The food subcategory recorded an inflation rate of 12.4%, as increases were observed in the cost of cereal products such as rice, flour, bread, and tortillas. Fresh vegetables, including cilantro, carrots, habaneros, and cauliflower, meat products such as beef, pork, and poultry, dairy products, including milks, cheeses, and eggs, other food products, including sauces and condiments, fresh fruits, including plantains, guavas, limes, and grapes, and cooking oils. Across the municipalities, Belmopan City recorded the highest rate of increase in consumer prices for the month, with an inflation rate of 8.1%, almost double the national average of 4.3%. On the other hand, San Ignacio Santa Elena Town experienced the lowest inflation rate of 1.5% during the month of October, with consumers in this municipality experiencing lower than average increases, primarily in prices for food and restaurant services. For the month of October, Orange Walk saw an inflation rate of 3.1%, while Corozal recorded the second highest inflation rate of 6%. The year-to-date inflation rate for the first 10 months of 2023 stood at 4.5%. The food and non-alcoholic beverages category increased by a significant 12.9%, as higher prices across all types of food products were recorded during the period. Coming up next, the North commemorates World AIDS Day. We'll tell you why it is important for you to know your status. Stay tuned.
Ho, ho, ho! cómo ganar $1,000 en efectivo por sucursal. Instale o actualice la aplicación de Transmisión Express Plus. ¿Cómo ganar otros $1,000 en efectivo por sucursal? Actualice el saldo de su cuenta a diciembre. Actualice sus datos personales para obtener su boleto electrónico. El sorteo será el 5 de enero del 2024 en el programa Despierta Belice. La gerencia y personal de Centar le desea a clientes y amigos una feliz Navidad y un próspero año nuevo.
Sign up for Smart's Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere. Another timeline. Another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I'm not gonna lose her again. Time has a pattern that it can't help reliving. Different people, different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets. It's my face. You stole my face.
If you were to go into the past, you have no idea what the consequences can be.
Bruce, I could fix things.
You could also destroy everything.
This can't be happening. I completely broke the universe. Zod.
We've been waiting for you.
I created a world with no metahumans. And now there's no one to defend us.
Want some help?
Oh. You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
If I can't undo what I did, if I can't get back, there might not be a future. What's the play? Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
It's not Clark.
My name is Kara.
I'm Barry. We're Barry. Barry, what are you doing?
Our kids are going to want to see this.
Across the globe today is being celebrated as World AIDS Day. The day is set aside to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS, educate people about prevention methods, and eliminate stigma against those infected. To create awareness, the National AIDS Committee in Corozal and its partners set up a testing site at the Gabriel Hoare Market in the middle of a bustling Friday. The site had HIV testing booths as well as stalls that provided information about prevention and protection of other diseases and infections. We spoke to Clemente Novello, chair of NAC Corozal.
Our main objective is lead community leads. That is our theme for 2023, in which we enable our communities to be part of and take action. Let them take the lead. For example, we have different booths. We have the diabetic, people's diabetic from Corozal branch. We have social security with us, enhancing people, giving them information based on what they need to know about their health status, about their pensions and all those stuff. We have our psychiatric nurse, PMP, willing to assist clients whenever they are positive or reactive to any tests. We have youth service with us, which dealing with the program, actually telling the young people about the reality of what are their objectives, what are the programs that they're developing. We have Oceana, we have SAD from Sartaneja. We have with us all the majority of our community health workers working along with HECOPAB, Ministry of Health, which has embraced along with the National AIDS Commission that have rendered their support for this event, which we as the NAC CCM coordinating mechanism here in Corozal, we offer the opportunity to our clients, our persons who are visiting Corozal today, especially at the market, at the Gabriel Hoare Market, so they could know their status. Knowing your status is very important for the Ministry of Health because we could prepare medication for the persons who are infected. It does say if knowing your status will help you, one, to determine your change of lifestyle. Next, it will assist you by having you taking ownership of your body. Remember that knowing your status is not only you will have sex, but with protected, for example, use condoms, or if you are a religious belief, you will use the ABC method, which is abstinence, be faithful, and condomize.
And while World AIDS Day is celebrated every year on December 1st, one of the major facts surrounding HIV/AIDS is the failure of consuming the right and factual information that will lead to better sexual choices.
HIV and AIDS, right? Some people believe when you have HIV, you have AIDS. Definitely no. It's a process. It's an infection that you acquire if you have unprotected sex with somebody who is positive. Then you get infected. That is what we say to get HIV. AIDS is at the long term. If you don't adhere to medication, if you don't comply to your studies when it comes to blood tests, if you don't visit the health facilities who render service, then you end up in a situation what we call there is no turning back, and that's what we say AIDS. Then automatically your immune system totally can't be helped if we give you medication. So at the beginning we say HIV is when humans get infected, and we could work with them. As you know, at the Ministry of Health here in Corozal, we render service about it. The Ministry of Health embraced them by giving the opportunity. One, we run studies, which is laboratory studies, which is viral load, CD4s. We prepare medication for them. In the event they need to do other tests, for example, an X-ray to know who the chest, because it's not only HIV, it's TB along with HIV. So we work in compare that we give you the best of our service that we could render.
And it's a free service, right?
Everything is free. The only thing that we always recommend, remember, you want attention, you must come early, because it's not a choice or it's a favoritism position being there or a at the lab or you visit any doctor for a health service, but it's a matter of waiting, having patience of a patient.
HIV epidemic in Belize remains concentrated in a certain sector of the population, and despite increased access to free testing and medication, patients are still being diagnosed rather late in the infection state. Their greatest challenge is stigma and discrimination. However, the chair of the National AIDS Commission, Corazal, says the first step towards healing is accepting one needs help.
Stigma and discrimination begins with the individual. The individual needs to know that he's not alone when it comes, if he is an infected person, that he's not alone. We have partnership, we have networking, we work as a community, we lead as a community, and we embrace our clients, first of all. By you coming into our facilities and we rendering you the best quality service that we could procure for you, that means that you are believing on us, and that gives us, you are challenging us, and that means saying, oh yes, I want to reach at this institution, which is a friendly institution, but at the same time, stigma and discrimination, you will encounter it around the globe. Everybody is sexually active. From the time you start to grow and you start to think about sex and you start to encounter persons and having sex, you need to do your HIV testing. Why? Because at the end of the day, you will know if your baseline, if you are negative or you are positive, or non-reactive or reactive. And that is one of the things very important for us as a Ministry of Health and the National AIDS Commission, that we look forward in helping you. But you guys, you persons that are listening to me, need to take the lead, because I will not be around for 20 more years. Somebody have to take the initiative. And with this, I could say that the Ministry of Health, once more, that's why I mentioned the Ministry of Health, because we are a family. As I tell you, stigma and discrimination, if you know of somebody who is calling your name or saying something about you, we have protocols and guidelines that will help us to find solution to the problem. Because if you come in and you heard that Mr. Novello is speaking about you, saying, oh, you know, Mr. X is HIV positive and Mrs. Y is HIV positive, you could demand me. And you have to have proof. And by taking that initiative, you automatically you are making yourself believing in the system. So let me tell you that at the Corazal Community Hospital, stigma and discrimination is not only found there, but it's found everywhere, up in the families that we live, that we need to break the barrier.
World AIDS Day is an AIDS initiative that emphasizes on prevention and diagnosis of the disease. As a result, it seeks to ensure that people living with HIV or AIDS are diagnosed on antiretroviral treatment, and for HIV-positive patients to have a fully suppressed viral load to live healthier. On November 28, 2023, Cabinet met during its regular session and approved the several proposed additional amendments to the Money Laundering and Terrorism Prevention Act and other relevant legislation. These proposed amendments will allow Belize to meet technical compliance with the Financial Action Task Force FAFT recommendations in the execution of the fourth round mutual evaluation by the Caribbean FAFT. Of note is that Cabinet also gave its approval for the Financial Services Commission to effect administrative strike-off of inactive companies that have failed to re-register since the enactment of the Belize Companies Act that was published in July 2022. Cabinet has approved an increase in the entrance fees at archaeological reserves in Belize effective November 1st, 2024. The decision, according to Cabinet, was taken in an effort to help safeguard Belize's archaeological reserves. The Minister of Culture, Honorable Francis Fonseca, commented on the decision today, highlighting that Belize continues to have the lowest fees to access its reserves as compared to countries in region, and so the increase is very much needed.
We've had a lot of discussions and consultations. This takes effect November 20. That's why we had to do it now. It takes effect 1 year from now, because that's what the tourism sector says they need. They need 1 year's notice So that's why we did it now. But yeah, I mean, we have the lowest fees at our reserves in the entire region, both in Central America and the Caribbean. You know, we have beautiful archaeological reserves, and you know, in the case of visitors to Belize, they're paying, for example, to see the ATM cave, they're paying $30 Belize right now. So we're increasing that. You know, you go anywhere else in the world, you know, you go to Harrison's Cave in Barbados, they're paying 60 US to go in there. So it's absolutely important because we complain about maintenance of these archaeological reserves. Well, we need money to maintain them, to upgrade them, to keep them functioning. So that's a part of it. So we consulted with everyone, and we're happy that Cabinet approved it, as I said, to take effect 1 year from now.
The St. Francis Parish and Roman Catholic schools in the Corozal district today flooded the main streets of Corozal town as they celebrated the 7th day of the St. Francis Novena. With flyers and posters in hand, and in some cases even marching to the beat of drums, students marched through the streets of town. After the parade ended in front of the St. Francis Parish in town, they were all blessed before entering the parish for a celebration. We spoke to parish priest Fray Agueda Cabrera, who spoke about the celebration.
Pues estamos de fiesta, hoy es el 7º día de la novena de nuestro patrono, que es San Francisco Javier aquí en Corozal. Yo digo que también es no solamente patrono de los católicos, sino patrón de todo el distrito de Corozal. Y bueno, dentro de la novena no quisimos excluir a los niños, ya que tenemos la escuela que es San Francis Xavier, aquí tenemos a Guadalupe School y a Mary Hill y demás escuelas. Entonces, junto con el comité, los invitamos a que también participaran los niños, los más grandecitos, a ser partícipes de lo que estamos celebrando, de la solemnidad que celebraremos el domingo de San Francisco Javier aquí en Corozal. Entonces los invitamos y pues vinieron, bendito Dios, muchas escuelas, muchos niños a participar. Y ¿por qué no? De esta manera también llevamos el Evangelio y la buena noticia a aquellos que aún pues no conocen a Jesús.
¿Y su mayor objetivo de esta celebración, estas celebraciones de San Francisco?
Darlo a conocer, que la gente, especialmente los católicos, los que profesamos esta fe católica cristiana, pues que se enamoren de su patrono, que es San Francisco Javier, que lo tomen en cuenta, que sean partícipes, que se sientan no excluidos, sino incluidos, de que somos una familia, de que pertenecemos a esta comunidad parroquial, y así quiero que se sientan, que se vayan integrando poco a poquito a las actividades que el comité junto con los parroquianos pues pusimos juntos para llevar a cabo esta solemnidad el domingo próximo.
Y veo ahora que después de lo que se hizo en las calles, ahora todos entraron a la iglesia.
Sí, ahorita la banda o el grupo de la escuela de San Francis Xavier va a cantarle una canción, va a hacer una pequeña oración a San Francisco Javier. Después haremos una pequeña oración y también un pequeño refrigerio a los niños en señal de agradecimiento.
Y al entrar vi que estaba bendiciendo a todos los niños.
Es una bendición y Dios es el que bendice, independientemente de si creemos o somos católicos o no. La bendición es para todos, la verdad, Dios es para todos, la salvación es para todos y no nada más para los católicos. Sabemos que en nuestras escuelas hay niños de otras denominaciones, es decir, metodistas, adventistas, bautistas, nazarenos, y aún así todos somos hermanos. Al menos eso es lo que tratamos de enseñarle a los niños, de no hacer separación, de vivir nuestra fe de ser cristianos, de creer en Jesús como nuestro Salvador.
The celebration continues tomorrow, and believers and non-believers are invited to join the celebration of St. Francis. In this next report, we take a look at Belize's total domestic exports for the month of October, which totaled 28.5 million, down by 28.8% or 11.5 million when compared to exports for October 2022. Most major exports experienced decreased earnings during the month. Revenues from marine products dropped by 36% or 3.1 million, owing to reduced exports of lobster products and conch. Smaller sales of sugar led to a 28% or 2.4 million decline in revenues from this commodity in October 2023. Banana exports saw a slight decrease from 8.5 million to 8.2 million. Among other exports, earnings from molasses fell sharply from just under 1 million in October of last year to less than 0.2 million in October of this year, while revenues from animal feed went down by 55% or 2.9 million. Notably, earnings from citrus products were up by almost 0.3 million, growing from 0.2 million in October 2022 to 0.5 million in October 2023 due to increased exports of orange concentrate. In October of this year, there were no exports of lobster products to the European Union, and as a result, revenues from this region declined from 8.1 million to just under 5 million. Earnings from Central America dropped from 5.9 million in October 2022 to nearly 3 million in October 2023 on account of decreased sales of animal feed, while a drop in revenues from the United States of America from 7.5 million to 4.9 million was attributed to reduced exports of conch and molasses. In addition, as no sugar was exported to the United Kingdom during the month, earnings from that nation fell from 8.2 million in October of last year to 6.5 million in October of this year. Revenues from Mexico went down from 1.9 million to 0.7 million, mainly due to a reduction in exports of cattle and crude soybean oil. On the other hand, earnings from the other countries went up slightly from 1.5 million to 1.8 million, as the month saw increased exports of lobster tails to Australia. Now, taking a look at Belize's total imports for the month of October 2023, they were valued at 243.3 million. This was a decrease of 3.4% or 8.5 million from imports for October 2022, which totaled 251.8 million. Notwithstanding a more than doubling of mineral fuels and lubricants imports during the month, reductions were seen across almost all other commodity categories, with the most sizable decreases being recorded for manufactured goods and commercial-free zones. Goods destined for the commercial-free zone dropped by almost 8.8 million due to decreased purchases of cigarettes and clothing. Owing to reduced imports of glass bottles, corrugated steel rods, and metal tanks, the manufactured goods category fell by 8.3 million. In contrast, the mineral fuels and lubricants category surged by 17.9 million in October 2023. This significant increase was attributed to the absence of diesel, kerosene, and premium fuel imports in October of last year, whereas all these fuels were imported in October of this year. Larger imports and liquid dielectric transformers and televisions drove the machinery and transport equipment category up by 2.7 million, from 51.6 million to 54.3 million. The Christmas holidays are inching closer. Even before it gets here, though, many families have had to deal with unwanted news after at least 8 persons lost their lives in fatal road traffic accidents over the past few weeks. It is an alarming scenario that urges immediate attention. Today, the National Commission for Families and Children broke silence and sent out a press release. In its release, it says, quote, "The NCFC will intensify its efforts to raise awareness about responsible driving, and collaborate with relevant stakeholders to implement effective safety measures," unquote. The release also makes a call to the media sector to, quote, "amplify the messages of safe driving and encourages citizens to be vigilant on the roads." As a responsible media house and the voice of Northern Belize, CTV3 News has constantly rung the sound of alarm in relation to road safety. As we go into the weekend, we remind everyone to respect all the rules of the road. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, December 4th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News VZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.